Top of it, top of it. It's your boy Coach One Stack, and it's story time, y'all. About Tevin Campbell. When Tevin Campbell went to jail, y'all. Because as you guys know, man, I am ex-law enforcement out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And so I want to bring y'all some stories, man, some real stories, from the streets about when I saw Tevin Campbell at jail, right? So before I get into this story, man, because I only leave real stories, I don't have to leave alleged, make sure if you enjoy the raw content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on there, man. Let's move. I'm going to start giving you guys a bunch of real stories from the street. Now, we're going to get on Tevin Campbell. If you know who Tevin Campbell is, Tevin Campbell, got brought into the industry when he was about 11 or 12 years old, right? And so let me start backtracking just for some of y'all young heads that really don't know. Tevin Campbell was the ish. He was that dude, man, and hey, he was that guy back in his day. And Tevin Campbell got brought into the game by none other than Will Smith, right? And Quincy Jones. Now, if you know your history about Quincy Jones, man, we know the great things that, the great Quincy Jones have done. But, let's get right into the raw stuff, man. Quincy Jones, propositioned Tupac to do what to him back in the day. And I believe, I don't want to lie, I think Tupac was dating Quincy Jones' niece at the time. Because Tupac came out and said it when he was alive, right? He said that Quincy Jones asked him to do what. So that Quincy Jones, he's playing for the Rainbow Team, and that's all, all glory due to God for him for that. And Will Smith, you already know his background, and that is one of his mentors, Quincy Jones. And so they brought along Tevin Campbell. So let me tell you guys what happened to old Tevin Campbell. As you know, Tevin Campbell was, let's just say, played with by Will Smith and Quincy Jones, allegedly. But the story I'm getting to ain't allegedly, because this is what I saw with my own two eyes as ex-law enforcement, right, at jail. So this is why, man, a lot of these dudes, man, these young people in Hollywood, it's really rough on them, being tampered with when they're young, because they have not yet experienced life, and they can only just but feel confused at the fact that somebody's making them do something, and now they can't, probably don't even know how to tell a woman to, to be submissive. You know what I'm saying, people? Y'all get what I'm saying? Well, it was always alleged that Tevin Campbell, once he got turned that way by Will Smith and Quincy Jones, allegedly, right, that he was doing some prostitution out there in Hollywood. Now, man, if y'all ain't never been to Hollywood, some of y'all ain't never been to the West Coast, man, Hollywood, that's where it goes down, people. It goes down in Hollywood. It's a lot of people trying to make it. It's a lot of, rainbow activity, in Hollywood. It's a lot of rainbow activity anywhere. But this ain't about rainbow activity. This is about the time when I seen Tevin Campbell at jail. Okay? So Tevin Campbell disappeared off the face of the map for quite some time. But it was alleged that he was out there, selling himself, and that he was on, drugs, on crack out there. So now out here in Las Vegas, man, I'm minding my own business, being a police officer at the time. And I took somebody to jail, to the city jail. For those of y'all that's in Las Vegas, they was Stewart and Mojave City Jail. For those of y'all ever been to jail in Las Vegas, it was Stewart and Mojave Jail on the east side of town. Well, when I got into jail, that's where officers would come and congregate to do their paperwork. And you might see somebody or whatever, and that's where you get to talking. And an officer I knew came around the corner. He's like, man, you ain't gonna believe who they got on the bench over there. Because, those of y'all that been to jail, man, I've been to jail. Like I wasn't always an officer, right? So I'm like, who's on the bench? There's like, Tevin Campbell. Like, yeah, right. Tevin Campbell ain't on no bench. Yeah, right. So the officer, man, that brought him to jail is actually doing his paperwork. So before I even go out to, because I'm doing my paperwork, right? I got stuff to do, man. I'm trying to make it to lunch at 7 o'clock. And so, I looked at his paperwork to see what, if he was telling the truth and if Tevin Campbell had been arrested for. And I looked at the paperwork. This ain't no allegedly. I looked at the paperwork, And this officer worked downtown. Now, if y'all not familiar with Fremont Street, if you've never been to Las Vegas, downtown Fremont Street is where people go to sell themselves. One of the places people go to find that rock that hit in the 80s in California, that crack. That's where they sell themselves, and it's a lot of male prostitution and just prostitution of any kind on Fremont Street. So it was some paperwork with his name that said Tevin Campbell, right? That's his real name. And the charges were soliciting for the purpose of prostitution and possession of drug paraphernalia, narcotics paraphernalia. He had a crack pipe. So I peek around the corner. I go around the corner to the bench where the people are, where, people go to jail at, right? And when I go around the corner, there is Tevin Campbell, the singer Tevin Campbell. And I'm like, well, damn, he looked a little bit disheveled, man. And I'm in no way trying to, talk about his situation or whatever. I'm just bringing you guys some story time, so you guys can know more about me and know more about, what I do and where I come from and why I leave these videos. And so Tevin Campbell's sitting on the bench, sure as shit. Tevin Campbell, he, I don't want to lie, but he appeared to be dressed as a woman, okay? Cross-dressing. But it was Tevin Campbell. You could tell nonetheless. And I'm like, Tevin Campbell. And he kind of looked up. He was disheveled. And I'm like, bro. And I ain't going to lie to you, bro. I said, do you still got it? I'm a happy dude, right? I ain't finna dog you out, man. The man's already sitting on the bench. He gonna sit in jail for the next couple of days. He done fell from grace. He's selling himself out on the street out here in Las Vegas. I had heard about it in Hollywood, but I saw it for myself out here, in Las Vegas. And he got picked up. And then he, was addicted to that rock. And I said, bro, you still got it? And I mean, I'll be damned if Tevin Campbell, man, ain't blow some notes, man, Tevin Campbell blew some notes on that bench. If I had been the one, if I had any control over that situation that day, man, Tevin Campbell would have went free, man. I never would have arrested Tevin Campbell, right? I never would have arrested him. When I seen that it was Tevin Campbell, first off the rip, man, I would want to tear that man down. But, man, I probably would have asked him for an autograph. And I would have released him, or I would have gave Tevin Campbell $40, $50, gave him some money, probably even went to eat lunch with him, because that is Tevin Campbell, y'all. And so, yeah, I saw Tevin Campbell on the bench, and, he actually went to jail 2 or 3 times out here in Las Vegas for the same type of stuff. But it's like, I just want to tell you guys, becoming the best version of yourself is not that easy. It's always somebody that's going to be in the way, trying to keep you from being you, or that put these vices and devices in your world. And Tevin Campbell was a prime example of that. And I believe we have Will Smith, Quincy Jones to blame for that, because they were his handlers. They were the one who were over him. No different than what Charlie Mack, Will Smith, and Diddy did to Brashear Gray. But Tevin Campbell was that dude. And lately, I don't know, in the last few years, I think I saw Tevin Campbell perform on an award ceremony. Might have been BET or something. But you could tell he looks aged. You could tell he had kind of a rough life or whatever. But, when I saw Tevin Campbell at the jail, man, he was looking bad, man. He was dressed as a woman. He was all, sucked in. He wasn't just out there like a bad, addict, just completely gone and, teeth yellow and, raggedy clothes. It wasn't like that at all. He was kind of dressed like a woman and, hair disheveled. And, he was out there selling himself. You got to get your fix some type of way. And, guys, we're not here to judge nobody on Coach One Stack channel, man. We're never here for judgment. I like to post things that are going on in the world. And I'm finna start giving you guys a lot of true stories from the street. So I don't have to say allegedly, because I saw that. And that can be proved. All you gotta do is go look up the records. That's easy, looking up paperwork. But yeah, man, I just hope you guys enjoy this story, man. If you want some more stories like this from your boy, because guys, I'm ex-law enforcement. I played in the streets, and I've been delivered by God for 8 years, man. And I got a whole lot, man. I have unlimited things to talk about and unlimited content. But this is where we keep it a stack with Coach One, Stack Jack. And you know the rest, people. Be blessed. Don't ever get stressed. Make sure you never get finessed. And making sure you get plenty of rest. And stay out of trouble like Tevin Campbell should have.